Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, so here's my number, call me maybe. I don't know if you've heard that song, I think it's by Carly Rae, something or other. But I got an email here from a guy who, from a viewer obviously, and he met a girl, and one of the things I love in life, it was special moments. Sometime in your life, if you haven't had this experience already, or maybe you've had it in the past and you fumbled the football a little bit, kind of like what this guy is doing here, but it's a really magical experience when you meet a girl and you could just for whatever reason, you do it. You push her buttons, she likes you, she's into you, she'll offer up her number, she'll tell you to call her, or she'll even get your number and actually reach out and call you. And like I've talked about in the past, attraction is not a choice. And so on a scale of 1 to 10, in order to have a chance with a woman, she has to perceive you as a 5 or better in her eyes, physically. But if you're a 4 or below, you just simply ain't got a shot. And you just need to find out if you ain't got a shot, and you move on. And obviously if you do, you get her number, make a date. But it makes things really easy and really magical. And it's really it's just like this email just reminded me of so many times, and this has happened over my life. Met a woman, you have great chemistry, and you can just tell by the way she looks into your eyes that she fucking wants you. It's just full tilt boogie, all fucking desire in her eyes. And it's an amazing experience. And I can kind of relate to what this guy is going through, because like when I was in my 20s and this would happen, and it's a rare occurrence because it's very rare to meet a woman and like right away she has like 80% interest in you from the get-go, and you feel the same way about her. But it's good. The moments are just so special when they happen, and it's a gift. But it's like my experience at 20s is kind of like this guy is having here, and I didn't know what to do, and especially like when you meet somebody you really like, and it's like all those emotions start bubbling up and overwhelming you, and you feel excited. It's like, wow, this is fate, because it gives you goosebumps. It makes your the hair in the back of your neck stand up, it gives you butterflies in your stomach, and it's like you walk away from that experience just like buzzing, and you just can't believe what just happened to you. But the thing is, if you don't have your shit together, if you don't have your emotional self-control in check, there's a good chance you'll fuck it up and fumble the football. And take this girl who just really was into you, and the more she interacts with you and gets to know you, her interest starts to drop, and then she starts to kind of look at you like the average woman does, and that really sucks when that happens. And you know that you did something to fuck it up, especially when you don't know what you did to screw it up. So he says, "Hey Corey, thanks for providing such a great platform that enables us to have in-depth comprehension of women and men." He says, "I have a question based on a girl I met about a year ago in a hair cuttery. She is Colombian." I love it. Brazilian women, Colombian, Venezuelan women are just fucking sexy, and they embody what feminine women are. They're usually voluptuous, nice curves, beautiful shape, beautiful boobs, beautiful eyes, gorgeous hair. And the thing I like about women from Central America is they don't have as many inhibitions as, say, women in the States tend to do, or any other country for that matter. So he says, I met this girl at the hair cuttery, and at the time she was married, but about six months ago she told me that she was divorced, and I guess that was her second divorce. So he says that day when she told me that, she actually gave me her phone number, and she said, "Call me anytime." And he puts in parentheses, "a clear call," right? He's like, "Yeah, dude, she was digging you. You did it for her." He says the next Monday she called me, and listen to this. He's like, instead of being excited about the call, he's like, "Well, he says, "I would have preferred to call her." It was like, "Hey, dude, the best place to be with women is when they are chasing you, because if a girl, you get her to start chasing you by doing everything right when you meet her, and especially like in this case, you really have to do anything. You just kind of showed up being awesome, the awesome you, whoever you are, and you were good enough for this girl. You just, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say the interest on her part had to be 70-80%. That's the best place to be. It's like you don't really have to do anything. Think about it. She gives you her number without asking. Then she asks you for your number, and she calls you on top of that. to go out on a date. It's like, dude, you can't get any easier than that, you know? And he says, the next Monday, she called me, and I would prefer to have called her. But anyway, she says, what are you doing tonight? Oh, what a real problem to have. He says, I said, well, I'm sick. And he says, in parentheses, it was the truth, and I have got the flu. And then she insists by wanting to come on over. I mean, think about it. If your nose is running, and she wants to come over, it's like, sure, you know, bring me some chicken soup. She wants to come over, take care of you. You just lay there, and she'll fuck your brains out. And you don't have to worry about the snot running down your face. If you're laying on your back the whole time, it makes it pretty easy. He says, so when she insists she wants to come over, he says, well, I'm sick, and it was the truth. I've got the flu. And he says, any other day, but today I can't. Then she said, okay, no problem. But afterwards, she never really gave me the interest level I deserved. It's like, come on, dude. It's like she's serving herself on a silver platter. She's like practically begging you to seduce her. And you're complaining. You're complaining because in your mind, you've got these preconceived notions of the way it's supposed to be. And so it's like what's going on is you've got your mind, which is basically saying, oh, she won't like you. It can't be this easy. There's no way this girl would ever want to go out with you or be with you. It's like those little thoughts are running around your mind. And so instead of being excited and grateful for this opportunity, your mind is trying to give you reasons why it's not going to work out, it's not going to last. And think about it. It's like that causes you to act from that place. And in essence, subconsciously, you're sabotaging your chances with this girl, and you don't even know you're doing it. So he says, I had been so stupid to always be nice and caring when she was literally using me like a toy. It was like, dude, she was into you, man. He says, recently I had to travel to see my family, and before I left to go to that country, she said, I love you, baby. She contacts me on my mail from time to time, 10 or 12 days, and is always extremely short in her answers. He says, it pisses me off, Corey, because I'm attracted to her, and she expresses the same feelings and signs of interest physically, but not mentally. It's like, you're basically complaining because she's doing like pretty much almost everything. She's even acting like the man in the relationship in ways by asking you out on dates, but you've got these preconceived notions. I mean, God knows where you got them from. And so you're looking at it going, well, she's not showing up and doing and saying exactly what I expect her to do, so I'm not going to complain, and I'm just going to fuck up a great opportunity because of these weird beliefs that you got from somewhere. So he says, what can I do? Make a date with the girl and say, sure, come on over. Let's make dinner. Bring a bottle of wine. I mean, it's like, come on, man. He says, I started not contacting her anymore, but she keeps maintaining the contact. I guess she still has interest. You think, dude? It's like, I don't know how. I mean, what does she got to do? Get a fucking big neon sign or a billboard around the corner from where you live with a picture of her saying, I love you, baby. Call me maybe. I mean, come on, dude. He says, does culture, she's Colombian, have anything to do with it? Well, I have found that Brazilian, South American women tend to be a little bit more open, a little bit more forward, and a lot like Australian women, they just like American guys. And it's like, dude, it's like she's treating you like a celebrity, and you're bitching about it. It's like, come on, man. It's like, I want you to take your right hand, reach out, and choke yourself right now, because you're totally fumbling the football. I mean, a woman's never going to make it any easier than this. It's about as easy as it can be. And it reminds me of a situation about one of the girls I wrote about in my book. And I remember the first night I was going out, I just remember like it was yesterday. And I was going out with a bunch of buddies of mine. One of my friends I used to work with in the construction industry years ago, and I hadn't seen him in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years or whatever it was. And so I was going out with some friends downtown, some of the guys I work with, and we were going to happy hour. And I was so excited. Business was going great. Everything was going great in my life. I was just really happy, looking forward to having a great time. And so we go downtown, and then my buddy, he calls me, and I tell him where we're at. And he never said anything. He was bringing anybody. I thought he was just coming. And so he shows up, and he's got this girl. I was like, soon as I saw her, I was just fucking... God, she absolutely took my fucking breath away. And in that moment, when I looked into that girl's eyes, I felt like I was looking into the eyes of the most beautiful woman and the sexiest woman on the planet. I mean, I felt that in my body. There was no doubt in my mind. The great part about it was the way she looked at me. She looked at me too long, and she was always, her eyes were always fluttering and blinking real fast when we talked. And I mean, and so I started asking her, because I'm always curious about this stuff. It was like, so what's up with you guys? How long have you been together? You getting married? You engaged? What's going on here? And then so they were just basically, I later found out, and it's like as the evening progressed, we all went out, we went from place to place. And so she started, we were all had a nice little buzz on. And this guy that I had used to work with, he was just like, he couldn't give him two shits less. He was just like, he was already bored with her, basically. And I just thought she was absolutely fucking magnificent. Because she was. And even this day, I haven't seen her in a few years, but, I mean, when I do see her, it's like still, it takes me right back to that moment. I still, like, especially like when I haven't seen her in a long time, I think to myself, like, God, I forgot how fucking absolutely stunning and beautiful she was. And that's a thing I've noticed is, like, the women that I had really intense relationships with, I sometimes go several years without seeing them. And then I run into them, or we talk together, we get together, hang out, go to lunch or whatever, and that's like the first thing that pops in my mind. As soon as I see them again, I actually physically they're in my space again. It's like, wow, that's the first thing I think is, oh my God, I forgot how fucking beautiful she was. And so anyways, as the evening progressed, and this guy's just kind of ignoring her, and he's talking to my buddies and drinking. It's like she's like grabbing my ass, and she starts telling me, yeah, he's, if he doesn't get his shit together, he's going to lose me, and she's giving me all these hints. And then, like, as the evening was, like, the place was closed and we were at, and we were all going to go back home and stuff, and, they were going to take off. She says, oh, I got to give you my number. And I was like, hey, you're with my buddy. I was like, I don't want your number. And I was like, you're with him. And she says, well, let me get yours. So she asked for my card, and my card had my cell number on it, and I gave her my card, obviously. And then this was like a Friday night, and so that Monday, she sent me an email inviting me to lunch. And so she came by the office, we went to lunch, we talked a little bit about business. She was in the insurance industry, and I was in the real estate industry at the time. And so she did a lot of homeowners policies and things of that nature. And so she obviously wanted our business, but it was like we went to lunch, we had this magical fucking connection. And then, because I felt kind of guilty about the whole thing, because she was, here she was dating this guy that I used to work with. He was kind of my buddy. And she was just totally pursuing him, or pursuing me, I should say. And like I said, they were still kind of hanging out and hooking up, and they did still continue to date every once in a while for the first month or two that we were going out. But it's like we went out, we had this great lunch, and because, hey, she invited me. I was like, sure, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. I mean, I could tell there was a connection. Everybody was like, hey, she's dating this friend of mine. And then she later told me that they weren't together anymore. And so we end up, I think it was like 2 or 3 days go by, and then she sends me an email. She's like mentioning drinks, like getting together for drinks. I'm like, hey, great idea. Let's get together for drinks. So we go and we have drinks, and it's like the whole time I was just sitting there across the table. It's like I was just like starting to totally fall in love, right? I mean, I was totally into her from the moment I met her, but it was like I was starting to fall in love with her she was just fucking mesmerizing to me, and she was very talkative, and it just interested in what I was doing, and she's like telling me her whole life story, and it was just, and so anyways, it's time to leave, and so we're walking out the front door, and as I turned to her like this to say something to her, I was basically gonna say, hey, where's your car? Like, I'll walk you to your car. And it's like, I say, hey, and she just like grabbed me and fucking started making out with me, and it's like, what you have right here, dude. It's like this girl is like, and it's like sometimes women are just like that. And especially really beautiful, really confident women that are used to getting what they want, they have no fucking problem going after guys that they're really into, and they make it so easy for you. And like I wrote about in my book, I fumbled the football for a while, and I eventually got it right, because she went from being really into me like this to she started backing off and getting cold and distant because I acted so weak, and then I started to pursue her more, and it's like the power flipped. And it wasn't until I backed off and let her start coming to me and chasing me and pursuing me that she got back to that same place that she was instantly when we met that night. And so all you really have to do with this girl is just, say yes to her in essence, but make definite plans. Just, hey, I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? She wants to come over to your house, so she's already comfortable, because she's been cutting your hair for, I don't know, a year, 6 months, or whatever it happens to be. And so she's familiar, and she's obviously very comfortable with you, and she likes you, and she wants you. She's decided in her mind that you're good enough for her. And all you're doing is complaining that she's not matching some arbitrary list of things that you think she's, checklist or whatever, the things that you think she's supposed to do. And like I said, all you got to do, dude, is make a date with her. Have fun, hang out, have fun, and hook up. And you are totally complicating things and making things totally difficult unnecessarily. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen, send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Wibia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.